And a good Monday evening to all of you tuning in. I am First Alert meteorologist David Ernst here with a weather update. We've been talking about it for, well, about the last week. When were we going to get out of this cold? And now it's finally here. Temperatures today generally 5 or 10 degrees above average and a solid 10 degrees, 15 degrees warmer than what most of us have been for about the last week and a half. I am meteorologist David Ernst. Again, you can find me on Facebook at David Ernst WBAY Meteorologist. You can follow me there, and I'll post some graphics and updates that you don't necessarily see on air or on the main WBAY TV2 page. Would also give you a chance to interact with me, ask questions if you're hazy at all about what the coming forecast is. I'll try to go through my messages and answer those as best I can. And another reminder as well to get our free WBAY First Alert weather app. I have the QR code there on the screen, but you can just head to your app store at any point, whether that's Apple or Google Play, and simply search WBAY First Alert Weather, and you can download that app for free. I didn't push this particular alert or update into the weather app, but there will be times when we do that, so you'd be able to follow this coverage along in the weather app. And it's especially useful as we get into our severe weather season, which granted is still a few months away, but nonetheless something to be prepared for. Bruce, hello. Nice to see you on here from Appleton. Let's go ahead then. Let me switch graphics here. I'll talk straight into the camera and get things set up for the main cast here. Again, thank you for tuning in. We are looking at a nice stretch of prolonged mild weather, but the trade-off for this is going to be some unsettled conditions. So with that, let's go ahead and get you back into the forecast here. And this is what will be missing us primarily to the south. That storm system you see on your screen, there's some heavier rainfall down towards the Missouri Valley right now, shifting into the Ohio Valley. What's going to happen as we get into Tuesday morning, we'll be on the northern periphery, so the activity you're seeing up around Chicago, that's going to be lifting into Wisconsin. The bulk of this heavier rain ends up missing us towards the south and the east, but we are still going to be close enough to that system where we might see some impacts out ahead of it. There are some winter weather advisories ongoing. Now, that's all we have. No blizzard warnings, no winter storm warnings, but winter weather advisories stretching across central northern Illinois, the Ohio Valley, and on into Pennsylvania and New York. Lower Michigan also included in that. This would be a more significant storm system if you were headed down towards Milwaukee or Chicago tomorrow. You would definitely want to keep abreast of the latest weather conditions if those are your plans. The winter weather advisory cuts off just south of our viewing area, so Fond du Lac and Sheboygan not included in that, but everybody to the south is, which would include Madison and Beaver Dam. We will continue to keep an eye on that system. The going forecast right now would be for everything to not necessarily stay totally south of Green Bay and the Fox Valley, but that's certainly where any heavier snow accumulation would be. Again, more in line with where you see that winter weather advisory in terms of the 2, 3, 4 inches or more of snowfall. So going through the night and past 3 a.m. here, fairly quiet, but skies will continue to cloud over, and there could be some icy drizzle developing at that time. I don't anticipate that to be a widespread issue, but we could see some of that in some areas. Secondary roads might become a little slippery. There's still a lot of brine and salt left on the main roads that they probably are able to handle anything that comes in tonight without really icing over, but sidewalks, secondary roads that aren't treated could certainly turn slippery should we see any of that icy drizzle developing. Looking ahead here at 7 o'clock in the morning, and you see a little bit of mix or light snowfall up towards Fond du Lac, Sheboygan, Manitowoc. It will creep a little farther north with time, so as our morning commute is starting to wrap up, maybe we're getting a little bit of that light snow up to the north of Oshkosh, but for the most part, it's still down around Fond du Lac and Sheboygan. Towards midday, again, Appleton up to Green Bay. Maybe we see a little bit of that activity into southern parts of Kewaunee County, but it probably does not push too much farther north of Green Bay, and then you'll see everything start to shift south and east of the area as we work our way towards the evening commute, and then everything fades away going into the evening hours, but skies will remain cloudy. Mild temperatures do continue. However, there is the potential for a fresh coating of snow, maybe 1/2 of an inch up towards Manitowoc, Oshkosh, even Appleton. You may see a few flakes flying, but any more significant accumulation locally is probably still under an inch and would be more so down towards Fond du Lac and Sheboygan. And then as you start getting into the Madison-Milwaukee area southward, that's where you pull in the potential for 2 or 3 inches or more of snowfall. So this does not look like it would be a major storm system for the area, but definitely one that bears watching, especially if you're going to be out anywhere from mid-morning into the early afternoon in central or southern parts of Wisconsin, or if your travels take you down towards Madison, Milwaukee, or into the Chicago area as well. I would plan on, some flakes flying and perhaps some slippery travel developing, especially the farther south that you go, as this storm system is going to be much more impactful well to the south of our area across parts of Illinois and Indiana, as opposed to right here in northeastern Wisconsin. Now, right off the top, we did talk about the milder temperatures that we have seen of late. These are current readings, temperature mid-20s into the lower 30s, and those numbers will largely hold steady through the night. Winds are going to be light overnight, so not looking at much of a wind chill factor out there as we get into your Tuesday morning. A nice change of pace. We have spent the last 9-10 days with temperatures below 32 degrees. There's also a stretch in there where it was 8 days and 23 hours that we were under 25 degrees. Which, it's winter in Green Bay and northeastern Wisconsin, so that may not sound like it's that significantly long, but when you go and look back at recent streaks, you'd actually have to go back to 2021 into February to find a stretch that was longer and colder than what we're just coming out of. So it was definitely a blast of real winter, shall we say, but we are starting to climb our way out of it. Temperatures tonight will stay pretty similar to where the readings are right now. We might drop just a couple of degrees. Let me go ahead and I'll pop the forecast up for tonight and tomorrow. So these are going to be your low temperatures overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. And you'll notice most areas are just 2 or 3 degrees cooler than where you are right now. So the temperature doesn't fluctuate too much overnight tonight. Temperatures tomorrow afternoon, there again, not fluctuating too much, but it's a very mild night for January standards. It's tough to know what normal is given how up and down the forecast has been of late. The average low would be 10 degrees, average high is 25. That's actually the coldest those averages get all year long. And we'll be besting that by 5 or 10 degrees for a high tomorrow and well above that for a low temperature. In fact, our low temperatures tonight are probably going to be warmer than the typical daytime high would be. And we likely see this kind of weather continue not only through the upcoming week, but this is the forecast for the next 8 to 14 days. So once you get beyond our 7-day forecast for the week that follows, it gets us into the first week of February. And you'll notice there that we are forecast to be well above average, or at least our chances of above average temperatures are on the high end of the scale. So now that we're into this mild weather, I would certainly look for it to continue, at least for the foreseeable future. The next week or two look very mild by January, February standards, and that was the ongoing forecast for most of the season, was for milder weather. We just got into a cold snap, if you will, some real winter, and maybe we see another one of those at some point here as we get into the latter half of February or into March. There certainly could be some more cold temperatures in our future, but nothing in the short term. However, even though we are milder and above freezing, there will be the potential for some rain and snow mix. For the most part, any snow accumulation stays south of Sheboygan and Fond du Lac on Tuesday. A few rain showers skirting by the area, favoring those south and east of the Fox Valley on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, again, could see a few scattered showers around with the potential for some wintry mix up north. But high temperatures, 34 and above, and even our nighttime readings likely stay in the 30s, so some very mild air coming in. With that, I will go ahead and just leave the 7-day forecast punched up here. Hope you have a great night, a safe Tuesday. If you'll be traveling southward, keep in mind there might be some slippery stretches that do develop. Of course, Chief Meteorologist Steve Balon will be back on Action 2 News this morning starting at 4:30 with an update on the forecast, and Catherine will be in with your traffic conditions, and I will be on tonight about 40 minutes from now on Action 2 News at 10. Hope to see you then. Have a great night.